want to find that drive and focus that has you locked in and on fire every single day, my book, The Mirror of Motivation, will do it for you. I bought a copy for you. You take care of the shipping. The book is free. Click the link down there. I got you.
DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves you, me, and anyone else out there to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. What we do is put all of this together into one package, and what you get is the mindset, the method, the philosophy, the book, the show called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is how to professionalize your business. How do you make your business more professional? Now, there's a definition of professional that comes out of the dictionary. I'll give you that one first, which is to be your main paid occupation. All right, that's what a professional is. Your main paid, if you do something as your main paid occupation, that is your profession. You are a professional at that. Then there's the work on your game definition of professional, which is a person who shows up every single day and does their job regardless of how they are feeling on the inside and regardless of the circumstances going on around them. Now, the definition of professionalizing something, so we're giving you three definitions here. Hope you stay with me. Professionalize means to give professional qualities, typically by incurring training or raising requirements. Typically by incurring training or raising requirements. And the topic here today is how to professionalize your business. And your business can be you actually running a business. It can be you individually as a freelancer or as a contractor or as an athlete. It can be you just living your life, because we know that life is a business. It costs money to be born, costs money to live, and it costs money to die. So whatever business you're in, we're all in multiple businesses. Or if you're in school, you're in business because it costs you money to go there. If you're alive, that's one business. So anyone listening to me, you're at least in one business. And if you have a job, that's a business. If you're in school, that's a business. If you run a business, that's a business. If you're an athlete, that's another business. So everything that you're involved in, there's some business going on. There's money involved. It costs money. You spend money. You make money. You're in business. So how do you professionalize the businesses that you're in? That's the topic here today. Point number one. First thing you got to do is get professionals on your team. You want to professionalize what you're doing. You need professionals around you. You need professionals working with you. You need to be dealing with professionals. If you're dealing with amateurs, then you're going to have an amateur business. If you're dealing with professionals, you're going to have a professional business. People who have already proven their worth and what you need is a professional. That's how you determine whether someone's useful for your team. Somebody will help your team become more professional. You need to find a person who, I'm going to tell you one more time, has already proven their worth in what you need. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong in giving somebody a chance, putting somebody on, taking on somebody as an intern who hasn't done anything yet. Listen, that's how you can find fresh new talent. As we talked about in yesterday's episode, what are you going to be looking for in that person? You're looking for values over skill. You're looking for values, attitude, and mindset. Then you can teach them the skill. Hopefully they're somewhat interested in what you're doing, so it'll be much easier to teach them the skill because they'll take to it easier. But the most important thing you're looking for are values, attitude, and mindset. They have high skills, but they don't have those three things. They would be very dangerous to what you're doing. They'd be toxic to what you're doing. So don't bring them around. Get professionals on your team who have already proven themselves and people with the right attitude who haven't proven anything, because the people who already have proven themselves, all right, they know the game. They know what's going on. They know the work. You don't need to teach them everything. It'd be helpful if you got some people around you who you didn't need to teach them everything about what they're doing, because it'll make your job that much easier. The person who does the audio for this show, I didn't need to teach them how to edit the audio. They probably knew how to do it better than I knew how to do it. So you need to find some people who know how to do things better than you know how to do them. When I had a trainer during my professional basketball playing days, they knew more about how the body worked and how to train it than I did. Because if I had to teach them how to train me, then what's the purpose of me hiring them as a trainer? What expertise are they bringing to the table? They just be a body being in the way. Get people around you who are not just bodies that you have to train from the ground up. It's cool to have some of them, but you also need to have some people around you who already know how to do the thing, because they can probably show you how your processes could be more efficient, how they could be working better, how you could eliminate some, how you need to add some in that you didn't know anything about. That's what I mean by getting professionals on your team, that you don't need to teach everything. Here, at this point, is where you get your information. These are the people of whom you ask opinions, and people whom you go to for help. So not just a random person who follows you or is a fan or somebody who emailed you because they watched one of your videos or read a chapter of your book. Don't go to those people for your help. Don't get all your information from them. Don't get the majority of your information. Don't get from them. Don't ask those people for their opinions unless you're doing a customer survey or a reader survey. Ask them then. But when it comes to the way that you're running your business, you need to be getting your information from professionals who know what they're doing already. Do you have any of them around you of which to ask opinions? You don't have any professionals around you, then it makes sense that you don't have the information. It makes sense that you don't know where to go for help. It makes sense that you can't take any of the right actions because you have no idea what they are because you don't have anyone around you who knows what they're doing besides you. You need more people besides you to know what they're doing. If you have anybody around you, make sure they know what they're doing. And you can actually get opinions, ideas, and insights from them. You can't learn from that person. You probably shouldn't have them on your team. They probably shouldn't be around you because all they're doing is taking up space. They can get something from you, but what can you get from them? Professional has two definitions, as I already told you. Main paid occupation is one. Showing up every single day and delivering is another. The people that you listen to and engage with, they share, and the people that you share information with and share information back with you, they need to be both. They need to already know what they're doing, and they need to be people who show up all the time to get the job done. And understand that these people may be a little bit harder to find than just any random bum that you find on the street corner, but they do exist. These people do exist, but now that most people, the thing that is happening now, a lot of people are throwing out this word professional or next to whatever it is that they do. A lot of them are not professionals. But how do you decide if somebody's a professional? Not because they have a business card, or not because they got a nice suit on, or not because they got a filled in LinkedIn profile. A professional is a person who has proven their worth, track record, looking at their aggregate overall picture of their resume, like we talked about yesterday, and they're a person who shows up and gets the job done consistently. You will know that by looking at what they've done in the past. You look at somebody's track record, it'll tell you a whole lot about what they're going to do in the future. The number one indicator of future performance is past performance. So you look at your own resume and it doesn't look too good, understand that's the same thing other people are thinking when they look at it. So you need to bulk up that resume, beef up that resume by putting your work in and doing what you need to do. It is not, the true professionals out there are people who don't even have to announce that they're professionals. This is another thing. If you come across a person and they keep telling you how they're a professional, you need to be wary of that. Now, they may actually be a professional. This is not always 100%, but if a person keeps announcing that they are a professional, there may be a very high probability that they're not a professional. They don't have to announce it, people who are real with it, because you can see by their actions. All right, they don't even have to use the word. Their actions show you, their track record shows you what they are. It's not always true again, but it's often true. So pay attention. Point number 2. Today's topic is how to professionalize your business. Amateurs out there, amateurs take what they can get. Professionals choose what they want. Say that one more time, because I want that one to really sink in for all of you. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're looking to be employed at a job, whether you're a freelancer looking for your next gig, you're an entrepreneur, figuring out who your next client and customer is going to be, you're an athlete, figuring out what team you're going to play for, you're a single man or woman looking for a mate. Amateurs in life take what they can get. Professionals choose what they want. And I'm pausing there on purpose. I really want you to think about that one. If you want to be a professional at what you do, you need to start demanding and at worst negotiating, and stop merely accepting. In episode number 915, I explained the only 3 ways anyone earns money in life. One is to accept what is handed to you. Someone makes you an offer, you accept it. And this doesn't have to be about money. Second way is someone makes you an offer and you negotiate. All right, you give a little, they give a little, you figure out and you meet somewhere in between exactly what you want and exactly what they want. That's a negotiation. The third way, the powerful way, the most powerful way, is demanding. You say, this is what it is. Anybody who wants to work with me, this is what you have to do. And if you don't do this, you can't work with me. When you get to that position, that's when you're in a true, real position of full power, because you get to dictate. You get to demand what you want. For example, if you want Beyonce to sing at your wedding, you can't negotiate with her. You can't call Beyonce and say, look, I got $1,000. I need you to come to this wedding in New York and sing for 6 hours. She's not even taking your call. You can't go to Beyonce and say, look, I got 1,000, you want 100,000, but let's meet somewhere in the middle. How about 50? They're not taking that call. If you reach out to Beyonce's people, the professionals around her, see how this all connects, and you say, I want Beyonce to sing at my wedding, they might say, oh, she's not available, and hang up on you. And that's the end of the conversation. Or they might say, okay, if you want her to sing, she'll sing for 2 hours and is $1 million. That's the offer. They're not asking you how much time you need. They're not asking you if there are certain songs you wanted to sing. They're going to say, this is what it is. This is the price. Take it or leave it. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly how she does things over at Beyonce Incorporated, but you understand the point that I'm making, do you not? When you are a professional at what you do, you need to position yourself, or at least be working on positioning yourself at the point in which you demand what you want. You tell them, whoever they are, this is what it is. If you want what I have to offer, if you want to deal with me, if you want to be in my space, these are the things that you need to do. This is what you need to bring to the table. And if you do not bring this, you can't sit at the table. Simple as that. The only 3 ways anybody gets anything in life: accept, negotiate, demand. The people with the most power, they demand. The people with no power, they accept. And everybody else is in between negotiating. I told you in episode number 1249, the topic being why it's worth the cost to pay for the best, to stop giving away your services for free. You freelancers out there, unless you're a lawyer or maybe a doctor, stop giving free consultations. Now, lawyer or doctor, it makes sense just because of the nature of what they do. But those of you who are, let's say you're a coach or a consultant or even a trainer, stop giving free consultations. So let that person pay you, or have that person, not let them, demand that person pay you for your work, especially if you already have a track record. If your track record is established, there's no reason why you should be giving a free consultation to anybody. Why? You already established your track record. They already know your work. All right? You are not in question. They're the ones in question. Why are you giving it away for free? Go listen to episode 1249. You can learn more about that. If you are a professional at what you do, your time is money. Even if everything you do is not necessarily trading time for money, your time is still money. Every minute you spend doing something is money that you could be making doing it. You can't afford to give away your time on spec. Giving something away on spec is hoping that whoever you give it away to could actually buy something from you. All right, you can't build your business on hope. You can't build your business on the strategy of hope, at least not if you're trying to be a professional. If you want to be an amateur, you can hope all you want. You already know that you're worth the money. And if you have a track record, that means you've already proven that you're worth the money, meaning there's something out there showing the world that you have actually proven that you're good. In other words, some testimonials, some page on your website, some videos, something that proves that you're good, some social proof that shows you are good and that you have a track record that's worth believing in. Or if you already have that and you have the knowledge in your mind that you're good, all right, now you're a professional. Now you got to start demanding. You got to charge for the consult, establish that your time isn't free. A person who can't pay for your consultation, all right, they can't afford to pay for you anyway. They can't afford to pay for 6 months of coaching if they can't afford 1 session. That doesn't make sense. And you adjust that price based on who you want to work with. As I told you in episode number 1212, price is a story. What story do you want to tell with your price? Price is a filter. In other words, if you like the clients that you're working with right now, keep your prices where they are. If you don't like the quality of clients that you are attracting, what you need to do is raise your price so that quality of client is no longer in your market. If you raise your price to a certain level, there are people who are not at that level who will never consider you. Therefore, you never had to deal with them. That's what price does. Price filters people out, and it also tells a story of who you want to be dealing with. And you as a professional, you want to professionalize your business, you need to start choosing and stop merely accepting. Now, a lot of people who wish to be professionals or call themselves professionals spend their entire days accepting and hoping instead of strategizing and demanding. Again, listen to those episodes that I refer you to there, 915, 1249, and 1212. In this way, once you start doing these things as a professional, your clients do not choose you, you choose them. Let me say that one more time. If you are a service provider, you work in some kind of services, whether as a trainer, a coach, business coach, life coach, consultant, anything like that, your clients do not choose you. You choose them. How you choose them, again, is based on the demands that you set. There's a guy that I know of who has his own, it's like an online community, like a forum type of online community that he runs. And he has a book that he wrote. I believe it's the only book. He might have more than one book, but there's one main book that he has that he's always talking about to his audience. And he tells people, if you want to join my online community, first of all, you have to put your information in. Of course, you got to pay a $10 waiting list fee. We're going to put you on a waiting list for 2 weeks, and you got to pay $10 just to be on the waiting list. And the waiting list is not guaranteed that you're getting into the community, but you have to pay it. You have to pay $10. You have to wait for 2 weeks before we let you in, if we let you in. And the only way you're allowed to be in is if you have bought this book. And this book that he has, it costs $50. If you have not bought that book and read it, I guess they do it on the honor system. You have to admit that you've read the book. You got to buy the book and read it, pay $10 and wait 2 weeks. And then only then maybe you'll get in. That's how you demand. And I'm not telling you need to follow his process. I don't do exactly that. But that's what I mean when I say you demand. You choose them. They don't choose you. Point number 3. Today's topic is how to professionalize what you're doing in your business. Know your data and be led by the data. This is 3 straight days we've been talking about the data. What is your data? What are your statistics? How do you know what's working, what's not working? Are you looking at this stuff? Do not be led by your emotions or your opinions or your feelings. You must be led by what's working and what's not working. And if you are in any type of business, that means there is some statistics that you can look at that shows you what's working and what's not. And based on what business you're in, you knowing what business you're in, you'll know what working, quote unquote, means and what not working, quote unquote, means. You're the one who has to decide what that means. That's not a black and white thing. You decide arbitrarily, this is what it means to be working. This is what it means to not be working. This is how you can be led by your data. On the TV show The Prophet with the main guy being this guy named Marcus Lemonis. He's an entrepreneur who goes in and buys parts of businesses and helps rehabilitate those businesses that are on the brink of failing. And what he always does, at least as they showed on the TV show, we know it's edited, but as he looks at it on the TV show, is that they look at the data. Now, what the data says is costing you more money to acquire a customer than you're actually making from the customer. So either we got to fix that or we got to shut this whole business down because you're going to go out of business doing this. So then they show little graphics on the screen. All right, if we do this, then we do this. If we lower this cost, raise this cost, so we bring in a new type of menu for this, and then we do this. Then the data shows, at least according to the graphic and his prognostications, if we do these things, then the data is going to start showing more positive for us. Everybody's going to make money. Everybody's happy. So what is your data? You got to know what your data is. You got to know what your information is. Be led by the data. Know how to read the data. Know what's working, what's not working. If you're not a numbers-driven person, if you're not a data person, if you're not an analytics type of person, then what do? Go back to point number 1. Get some professionals on your team who are. So they can look at it and they can tell you and they can explain it to you in a way in which you can understand so that you understand that what they're telling you makes sense and then you can do what needs to be done. If you don't have professionals on your team and you're not a professional at this thing, then you're in trouble. You might already be in trouble right now. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, none of us is an expert at everything. None of us is going to be a professional at every single aspect, but you can become good enough at any aspect that you can know what's going on. Like, I'm not telling you got to be a pro at your analytics and your data and at hiring and I think you do need to be a pro at dealing with people, because if you're doing any kind of business, there's people involved. But you can't be a pro and great at everything, but you can be good enough to at least know what the hell is going on at everying. And if you're running a business, your life is a business, you need to be at least good enough to know what's going on in every aspect of your business. If you're not, then your business is in trouble. You might be close to going out of business. Point number 4. Today's topic is how to professionalize your business. Give your customers, and this is specifically for people who are actually in business. You sell products or services and you have end users who buy from you. All right, if you're one of those people, listen very closely to this last point. Give your customers an experience that you are proud of. Let me repeat, because there are a lot of people violating this principle right here today. Any of you who has purchased anything in the last 10 days, can you tell me, can you concur that there are a lot of business owners out there? Because somebody owns every business that's out there, right? Any business you've been involved in, somebody owns it. There are a whole lot of people violating this principle right here. Give your customers an experience that you would be proud of if you were going through the experience. That you're proud of saying, I'm the one in charge of the experience that you just went through. If you had to stand at the front door of your business, or if you don't have a front door, you have to be the front door virtually of your business, and every single person who bought anything from you, you had to stand right there when that person walked out and say, hey, the experiences that you just had, I'm 100% responsible for it. And you had to look them in their face and tell them that. If you wouldn't do that with the business that you have right now, then you need to fix that like yesterday. And when I say give your customers an experience that you will be proud of, Understand that this means even the people who ask for a refund, or the people who don't spend a whole lot of money, or people who, for whatever reason, you're not really feeling them because they did something that you didn't like. Who knows? They didn't spend as much as you wanted them to spend. Some reason you're not really feeling that individual. You still need to give that person an experience that you will be proud of, because your business is a representation of you. You own it. Understand that even if you are a freelancer, entrepreneur, solopreneur, business owner, your customers are your boss. So even though you don't technically have a boss, you don't have any supervisor who can tell you what to do, tell you what time to get to work, and tell you what time to go home. You do have a boss, and they come in the form of your customers. People who buy from you, they're your customers. I mean, they're your boss. They're your customers and they're your boss at the same time. Because if all of them go away, all right, you no longer have a job. You no longer have a business. Your customers determine whether you are in business or you are out of business. So show your customers the respect and the courtesy that you would show a person who could literally fire you. The same way you respect your boss, the same way that you as a child would show respect to your parents, show that same respect to your customers, because they had the exact same amount of authority over you that a boss or a parent would have over you, or a coach, or anybody that you've followed in that capacity at any point in your life. Treat them how you would want to be treated. If you are in sales, for example, and you don't have to be the business owner for this principle to apply, but if you are, then this works double for you. Buyers are buyers. Anybody who's in sales, understand that every buyer is a buyer. What do I mean by that? And every non-buyer is also a non-buyer. What do I mean by all this? In other words, the person who spends $1 in your business is infinitely more valuable and has infinitely more potential than the person who spends $0, even though it's just a $1 difference. I talked about this when we talked about investing. See, investing, a person who invests in themselves, or a person who understands the value of investing in any way, shape, or form, that is not about how much money you have. So a lot of people think they can't invest. Whatever kind of investing you're thinking about, whether investing in, I don't know, people, real estate, investing in stock markets, investing in yourself, investing in something that is you have to spend on it now, but it's going to pay you back on the back end later on, delayed gratification. All of those are investments. The act of investing is more of a mindset than it is about your tangible resources. In other words, if you're a type of person who says, I can't invest in myself because I don't have any money, you are completely missing the boat. Investment is not about how much money you have. Investing is about a mindset of, I'm going to put something in right now and I'm going to get more of it back later on. That's investing. And that's a mentality. That is not about how much you have. You can have $10 to your name and still be a person who thinks like an investor. And you can have $1 million and be a person who doesn't think like an investor. But usually the more successful a person comes, if we're going to say financially, they understand this whole concept of investing. It's usually how they got the money in the first place. And I'm bringing all of that up to, again, emphasize my point. A buyer is a buyer, a non-buyer is a non-buyer. In other words, the person who spends $1 with you is in a completely different category than the person who spends $0, but maybe they have a whole lot of opinions that they want to share with you. Even though it's just a $1 difference, because investment is a mindset, not a financial status. If you want to professionalize your business, you need to start differentiating your buyers from your non-buyers. The people who are spenders versus the browsers and freeloaders. And you need to treat them differently. I mean, would you want to be treated differently if you're a buyer at a business as opposed to a person who's just window shopping? Would you want a different experience because you've already known, liked, and trusted that business enough to pull out your wallet and spend money? Don't you think you should get a different experience? Or is the same thing in your business? Your buyers should get a different experience from your browsers and your freeloaders. And if you never really thought about doing this, well, listen. There's no better time than the present. You can't do it in the future. Well, you could do it in the future, but then you're wasting the present, and you can't do it in the past. So how do you professionalize your business? Let's recap today's topic. To professionalize means to give professional qualities to, typically by incurring training or raising requirements. Point number 1, get professionals on your team. People who have already proven their worth, and they already know how to do what you need them to do. They know the game, they know the work. You don't need to teach them everything. Professional, we know, has 2 other definitions. The main paid occupation is the dictionary definition. The work on your game definition is you show up every day, you deliver every time. The people you listen to, engage with, and share information with need to fit both of these definitions, and they do exist. So you need to get out there and find them. That is your number 1 job. Point number 2, amateurs take what they can get. Professionals choose what they want. If you want to be a professional at what you do, you need to start demanding and negotiating and stop accepting. Episode 915, the only 3 ways that people make money. Episode 1249, why it costs why it is worth the cost to pay for the best. I told you to stop giving away your services for free. If you're a professional, your services are not free. That's what made you a professional in the first place. If people can't afford a consultation, they can't afford 6 months. That just makes sense, does it not? Episode 1212, price is a story. Use your prices as a filter to weed out the people whom you do not want to deal with. And if you don't want to deal with freeloaders, then here's the thing. Stop giving away things for free. Simple as that, isn't it? Point number 3. Know your data and be led by the data, not by your emotions, your opinions, and your feelings. Watch the TV show The Profit on CNBC with Marcus Lemonis. He goes over this. This is the data. This is what's working. This is what's not working. And the reason why he's able to do that so easily, again, in an edited television show, is because he's not emotionally attached to the business, because it's not his business. He didn't start the business. He buys into it, but he's not emotionally attached to it like so many of the business owners are, because they built it from zero. So they think everything that they thought of needs to stay exactly as it is. But that's the exact thing that got them in trouble in the first place. Point number 4, give your customers an experience that you are proud of. Even the ones who ask for refunds, even the ones who don't spend as much as you want them to, your customers are your boss. They are your supervisor. They determine whether you're in business or not, so show them the same respect. Treat them how you would want to be treated. And if you are a salesperson in any capacity, understand a buyer is a buyer and a non-buyer is a non-buyer. People who look at your offers, they see it and it's a great offer and they don't spend any money, all right, they're a non-buyer. All right, they need to get a different experience than the people who spent $1, because spending as investing is a mindset. It is not about resources. It is not a financial status. It's a mindset. You need to segment these people and give them different experiences, because you're trying to professionalize your business. And you're not a professional if you are not having people who are spending money. Nobody's spending money, then you can't be a professional at what you're doing. Those of you out there who are in sales, or those of you who are running a business. Again, in the gang group, refer to the business section, the business category, and also the sales category. Both categories, and also the course Sell Yourself. All of those give you more enrichment on this topic of professionalizing your business, professionalizing yourself, and making sure you're making what you want to be making and dealing with the people that you want to be dealing with. It is your choice. You are not subject to who chooses you. You choose them. Again, that's a mindset though. You got to get that first. Work on your game. Dre all day.